and welcome to the instruction video for the BEad Brave Wave kit. Now before you get started with this kit, we want to make sure that you have completed an entry-level 1 or 2 bead mosaic kit, because the basic technique of this kit is really the same as that. There's just a few new things that you're going to learn. One is using the lines but not staying in the lines, and the other is how to make a splash. We're going to show you how to do totally freeform areas that are going to make your piece just stand out and come alive. Now when you get started, you're going to want to put your black art edge strips on the outside of your board before you start placing your inner strips. Now the inner strips, if you notice, I'm laying them down on top of the lines, but I'm also tapering the ends. So what we want to do is create something that makes it look like the art edge is fading instead of just ending in a blunt end. Now I tend to not want to waste art edge, so I just place it somewhere else, pull the next strip off, and go ahead and start laying it down and cut the ends at an angle so that they taper off. And these lines are actually going to be used not as much for guidance, but as part of the design to make it look like the striations of the wave that are usually reflecting off the light. So it gives it a really neat and beautiful effect. That's what this silver art edge is for. So just continue doing this until you get all of the solid lines covered with the art edge. Do not do anything with the dotted line. That is a guideline for something else in the project. Once all your art edge lines are in place, you will begin to fill the areas with the beads. And you have your guide sheet, design sheet that shows you which colors go in what areas. This one we're going to make very loose, and you are going to use the lines as guides but not as containers. So if you notice here the way I'm putting these beads down, they're very loose, they're in between lines, and they are actually starting to overlap. If you notice right there how I overlap the area, that's going to blend it in. And this is kind of a loose technique. It's not the same type of strict line delineation that you're used to when you did your level 1 and level 2 kits, which were using the lines to make it look like stained glass. This is not intended to be that way. So you're going to continue to use your different shades of teal in the various areas, and you're going to overlap them. And you can take a good close look at the color chart to see where that's supposed to happen. Now the silver is going to kind of get done last, and this is going to go a little bit over, but you're going to save some of your silver for some of the other areas. So don't feel like you have to put it all down now. You will have some of it left over, just like you should have some of the light blue left over, and you don't want to use it all in this lower area. You want to make sure that you still pat everything down to one level. It's very important in order to get the 3D effect that we're looking for, that your first layer of beads is flat the way it's supposed to be. So now we're going to start to work on the splash area, and this is where it gets to be more freeform. You're going to lay your remaining light blue beads inside this middle area, and then you're going to cover that dotted line with your royal blue colored beads. And you want this to be loose. You do not want this to be a straight line. Now, if some of the beads decide to travel a little farther out than they should, you can go ahead and fix those up. But you are going to create a very loose line with your royal blue beads and let that free form come through. Once you have those down, you can fill the outside corner with those black iris beads, and you are going to overlap the black with the blue to create a natural looking transition between those colors. We're not using any kind of paint here, although if you really wanted to paint underneath it, you could create a more intense black by using paint underneath it. Now we get to start with the splash and the water. So with the water, we are going to go right over the top of those light blue beads, and yes, they're going to peek out underneath it, And then we're going to go over the top of where those blue beads, the darker blue beads are. And we're going to kind of follow where that dotted line is underneath. And then you're going to start to lay them also on top of the silver outline, because this is water. It is splashing all over the place. So you're going to want to let it kind of do what it wants to do. Although it looks like my scooper is right next to the beads, it's not. It's about an inch above it. And I do that on purpose. I don't want to knock anything over with the scooper, but I also want to give those beads a chance to kind of move around. So go ahead and cover. You don't want to cover up the silver completely, but you do want to let those beads kind of fall where they may and create that randomness that a splash would create. You can also use your remaining silver line beads to just give it a little bit of a silver coloring on the top. Just sprinkle those right on the top like pepper or something. Don't forget to fill in the blue on the inside of the wave, and then you're going to cover it with your skinny glue. This is, like I said, this piece is very similar to your standard entry-level kits with just a little bit of a twist, but you're going to cover it with the skinny glue, and then you're going to have your finished piece when it's dry. You will need to do your touch-up phase just like you would with any other kit, but I hope you have enjoyed putting this together and learning how to be a little more freeform with your work. I hope that you'll frame this and hang it up in your house with pride, because it's a very beautiful piece. If you want to learn more techniques and try something more difficult, I encourage you to join our BEad Brave Kit Club, which gives you a new kit every 4 months to try out. And all of our BEad Brave kits teach new techniques and give more and more challenges. All of our products, supplies can be found on beadmosaic.com. I hope you'll check back with us often to see what new products we have and what new resources we have to help you on your bead mosaic journey. Thank you so much.